Drop.
What's up? This is your girl Nikki,
and this is Chelsea,
and this is another episode of a vibe called Melanin. Happy to be back, sis.
Episode 2.
So I guess let's just hop right into the Melanin Spotlight.
Yes, so today our Melanin Spotlight goes to Karen Robeson of Karen Conquers. Karen is an event planner and she does all things craft. So whatever it is that you need, that girl can do. She can do shirts and masks and floral arrangements and all different types of events. So we are going to share her information on our page. You can find her on Instagram at Karen, which is CARRYN Conquers. So Karen, we are super proud of you. Can't wait to see you really flourish into your business endeavors. And you know that whatever we can do to support you, we got you, girl.
We got you, girl. Congrats.
So anyways, what has been going on in your world? It's been a couple of weeks since we have touched base and recorded. So what's been going on? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's just
energy.
Yeah, it's just like, so we gonna skip what's going on with me, and we just gonna talk about Coming to America. Have you got a chance to watch it?
I did watch Coming to America too.
And what were
my thoughts on it? Was that it was decent.
Okay. So you're not in the group of people who was like that was trash.
No. I'm not in that group at all. I think the movie. Well, first of all, I went into the movie with an open mind because I know that we can watch movies and automatically be closed off to the fact that, well, it's not going to be like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, it's not going to be like the first one.
It's not supposed to be like the first one.
So I went into it with an open mind, with intentions of not trying to compare it to the original Coming to America. And I just watched it and took it for what it was. Mm-hmm. It was a decent movie. Mm-hmm. It was great to see like the original cast members all together, alive, looking good, healthy. The script was okay. Everybody looked great, you know. So I love the hair, I love so all of that was good for me. The comedy portion of it was okay. I got some laughs in, and some parts that maybe other people may have thought was funny or not funny or whatever. Yeah. So I just try not to be too hard of a critic on things like that. Now, don't get me wrong, when they do come to movies and certain things, sometimes I might go in on some movies that I just don't think is good, but in this particular case, it was a decent movie. Okay. I don't know what all the hatred for the movie is about. I mean, of course it's not the original, but it's not supposed to be the original. Mm-hmm. It was in my opinion, it was a decent movie.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much share the same opinion. I felt like it was decent. I like the movie. I like the movie for what it was. I feel like it did what it was supposed to do. I really don't know what people were expecting. Mm-hmm. I mean, even when you go back and look at the original Coming to America, think about how old we were and what it was back then versus what it would look like when we watch it, now. Mm-hmm. If that movie came out today now, we may be like, what?
Right. We would probably have a completely different opinion of it.
Yeah. So I felt like the movie was fine. I didn't really understand where all the hatred and
people just want to be in position to criticize something, be overcritical, and everything isn't a think piece.
It's not. It's just supposed to be.
It's okay to just, enjoy something for what it is. And I get that everybody has different tastes and different expectations, but sometimes we can be a little too critical,
too harsh
of our work and our efforts that we put out there. So My personal opinion is that the movie was decent.
And kind of like you, I really enjoyed seeing all of the original cast there. The nostalgia was there for me. I love the wardrobe and costumes of everything. I think that the only thing that I would probably have something to say about is like certain parts of the storyline I felt like probably could have been better or could have went a different direction. But I mean, it wasn't my work. It's not something that I wrote. That was what he wanted for it, and I feel like he executed it well enough. So I enjoyed it for what it was, and that's pretty much what's been going on with me. I've just been trying to catch up on TV and what the talk is as far as television is concerned.
Well, speaking of TV, my show is back. Your girl Chelsea is a Snowfall fanatic.
Yep, you can add me to that list too, baby. Yes, Franklin.
If you don't watch Snowfall, what are you doing with your life?
Out.
You are missing out on such a great top tier
television show. Yeah.
This season is definitely gonna be wild and crazy.
Yep.
I'm gonna try not to spoil.
Oh, it's hard because it's like,
but I'm gonna try not to do any spoiler alerts for those who are listening that
haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Right, but like we 4 episodes into this thing, so I'm gonna need y'all to catch up if you haven't watched it. But listen, I will say that there is some characters that I don't know if they gonna make it. I don't know if they gonna make it through the end of the season. There is one in particular that I feel like need to get gone already. Yeah, because they getting on my last nerve.
Is this a new character that was?
Yes. The new character got to go.
Bye, honey.
Got to go. But yes, if you do not watch Snowfall, you missing out. Like you are missing out on a top tier show. And that might be my guilty pleasure drug dealing shows.
They're always good.
They are good.
They're always hitting a spot, and it's like
I must have been an OG in my past life because your girl liked them kind of shows.
And it's like I'm rooting for people that I probably should. It's like in real life I'd be like, nah, but on this show it's like, no.
On this show it's like, fam, what you doing, bro?
Like, I want you to win, bro. I need you to back up off.
Right. Yes. So like I'm excited to see what unravels this season on the show. And then also, truth be told, they're so deep into life, like you can't trust nobody. So it's like, who can you really trust? Like, who can Franklin, who is the main character of the show, who can he really trust? And sometimes I'm like, can you trust yourself? Because some of these decisions you making,
but his decisions have always been questionable. I feel like even from the very beginning when he was just getting into it and not really knowing what he was doing, the decisions was always like, bro.
And he was like, real talk, on the first like 2 episodes of the season, of this new season, I was like, you looking like season 1 Franklin right now, and I'm gonna need you to come on,
because he's rattled.
I'm like, I'm gonna need you to come, get back to yourself, who you were starting to become.
Yeah.
Because these decisions that you making is gonna lead y'all down. Well, y'all already on the wrong path, truth be told.
Yep.
But y'all gonna be on a much deeper wrong path if y'all don't get it together.
Yeah, because things are getting too deep and they getting real quick. And he's like, it's a lot coming at me real quick. And he thought he was gonna be able to control certain things, and when they didn't go that way, and now the target is like kind of changed. He's like, oh hell.
And I want to give a shout out. Like, I need to look up this actress's name, but the girl that plays Wanda,
I knew you was about to say that.
That girl be active.
Yeah,
okay?
She do.
Like, she got her role down. I don't know if you remember her.
Insecure.
Was she on it? She was on Insecure. She was the new girl when Molly was at her, I guess, that first job she was on. I remember her on there, and she was also on an episode or 2 of Atlanta.
Yes.
Her and
they went to that party.
Yes. Her and who she talking to? Darius. She ended up meeting Darius or whatever at that party or whatever. So Which I knew. I was like, if she talking to Darius, she in good hands because Darius wasn't gonna do nothing to her. We done went from it's Snowfall, Insecure, Atlanta.
They all black, so it's all good.
But yes, that girl can act. And I'm looking forward to seeing her in more roles as well. She got her character down on Snowfall like real good, and I actually want to see her get her life together on the show.
I do too. I hope that this. I can't say too much because I don't want people to know what really happened. But I hope the place that she's in now is gonna allow her to get herself back up on her feet, like get some stuff out of her system, and just get a fresh detox, refresh, and hopefully like set her system back to a clean place.
Yeah.
So that she's no longer craving. Because I feel like she had an epiphany moment where she was out there with them people and she was seeing how they was acting. And I think she went and looked like in the mirror. She did something, and I felt like she kind of saw
that she wasn't
right. But even though you're there, you still don't really know how to dig yourself out of it. So I hope she's able to.
Do you know how many not seasons? Do you know how many episodes this season is going to be?
I would assume at least 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And we already
4 episodes into this thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's at least 10. We need to probably like 12.
Yeah,
it's a lot going on.
It's a lot.
So I need, I really don't know how they're gonna put all these pieces together. I be on the edge of my seat watching this show. But yeah, y'all gonna hear us talk about Snowfall probably every week because this is my show.
Yeah, I really would like for us to do a series where we can actually dissect these shows and just kind of list is like we can probably call it spoiler, just so that they'll know we're talking about the details of the show in case y'all want to tune in and join the conversation. Maybe we can do some kind of live or something like that.
Oh, that'll be fun.
At some point, but anyways, I digress.
Yeah. So outside of Snowfall, I guess. Well, I'm trying to think what's been going on in my world. Work, typical work stuff. It's a new month. We are in the month of March, which means a new season is approaching. Spring is coming soon.
And time is about to spring forward today.
It is. Oh, my gosh.
I know. I'm not ready for it.
I'm not ready for it either. But, I mean, for the most part, everything is, cool and dandy my way. Don't really have too much busyness or craziness going on. Things have kind of, for the most part, calmed down in a sense. Work is still busy. For me, it's kind of up and down, but my approach to it is starting to get better. So, yeah.
I will say that is the one positive thing that I can say about this past week or the last couple of weeks is that I got a break from work. So having some time away from that has been great. I mean, it's some time, but I feel like it wasn't enough. I feel like I probably should have taken more because the days that just go by so quick once you start filling it up with things that you have to do. It's like, dang, this day is already almost over.
Oh, yeah, you did have some days off this week.
And then even though I have days off during the week, I feel like a lot of times my day is interrupted because I have to stop and then go pick up, my child from school and come home. So it's like I really didn't get a
shout out to all the parents.
I know.
There.
It's like
y'all
I didn't.
Got it.
We do. It's like I didn't really get a full day, but I was still appreciative of the time not having to think about work stuff, and I definitely needed that break this week.
That's good. So when do you go back to work? Or okay,
I go back officially on Monday, but but it's gonna be a chill week because there are some people who will be out of the office this week.
Amen. Glory to God.
Spring break, so it's kind of like a little bonus break. For me. So just kind of work as I need to, but it's not. I don't expect it to be busy or a high pressure.
Yeah, I actually have some days off next week as well. You know me. I take off when I feel like taking off.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely giving myself a few days off next week. Do I have any plans? No.
Nope.
I will just go with the flow of whatever I feel like doing on that particular day.
Yeah.
But in the spirit of work.
Oh, God. In the spirit.
In the spirit of work and talking about our jobs and our careers, which I think is today's topic, is a good follow up to some comments that we made in our first episode about work. So I know that both of us shared how we would like to eventually find our way into full-time entrepreneurship, how we do have a long-term goal of leaving the corporate world and fully branching out into being entrepreneurs. We have there's seasons and timings to all of that or whatever. But our current situation is that we are in corporate.
Oh man, I was just about to say we quit.
Okay.
We broke the chains already, y'all.
No, we have not.
Not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet at all. Now you made me forget what I was about to say. Just just completely interrupted me with her excitement, thinking I'm gonna say something that I wasn't gonna say. But so, like, in the spirit of work, we are currently still in our corporate jobs, and we wanted to take some time out to really explore what it's like to be a Black person in the corporate world. And since we are Black women, we definitely want to share some of our experiences and just have this conversation about what it's really like to be Black in corporate, because it is definitely an experience,
and I feel like it's a different experience for everybody,
right? So
even though, like, we're two Black women in corporate, I feel like whatever stories you have to tell or your experience is going to be probably, maybe, I guess we're going to find out.
We're going to find out today.
If it's different than mine or if it's very similar, so we can see, like, if there's some kind of patterns going on out here in the work field, in the workforce.
Yeah, so I guess let's kind of start, since I've been kind of rambling thus far. I guess let's start with you, and just kind of like, how long have you been at your current employer, and like what was your experience like starting out, and just kind of where you are now?
Okay, I have been at my current place of employment for, I guess it'll be 10 years this year. Shout out to my sabbatical that I will be taking this year. Yes, need a break, can't wait. Anyway.
Y'all, my co-host is real random. I thought I was random. Like, I really thought that I was random, but she is really having these random outbursts.
Because I'm just thinking, like, the time I put in, and now I'm about to, because I missed my first sabbatical. You get one every 5 years, or you're eligible to take one every 5 years. And I didn't take one the 5th year, but I'm going on 10, and I'm about to take it, and I'm taking some time off to get away. But anyway, so I'll be there going on 10 years this year. And my experience, like, from when I first started, it was okay. The person that reached out to me was another person of color, another female person of color. So when I got there, I was like, oh, okay, like, this is great. It's going to be a nice, diverse working environment. I do feel like I was welcomed by everybody, but once I actually started the job, I felt like I was still welcome, but once I actually started the job, I was starting to notice that maybe I'm the token.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I am a token in this situation, because I wasn't seeing very many others that look like me. And I will say the couple that I did see were in departments that kind of made me scratch my head, like, why are they putting y'all there? And this was Black males.
Okay.
It's like, okay, so y'all are doing this stuff. I'm not going to say what that was, but it kind of felt like I was the only one. I did, eventually over time, I did see like a couple more being sprinkled in there, but I just want to say, like, I feel like my experience was, I'm just kind of like on an island by myself, basically. Is how I felt. Not really a whole lot of people to relate to. A lot of conversations I felt like I couldn't have. Felt like I had to, there was some form of having to edit myself and not truly be 100%, me, because not even aside from it being a professional work environment, just feeling comfortable to like let your hair down and just be your true self without somebody looking at you and saying, not really understanding my language, my culture, my background, and how we communicate. It's like, well, I can say certain things and they don't even know what I'm talking talking about. So it's just missing some levels of relatability. But that's just like on the personal front. Professionally, professionally, I don't want to I feel like I can just keep going on and on and on, and I don't want to cut into some of the things you have to say. Professionally, I feel like, well, let's just stop there.
Okay.
Let's talk about how you're just from the ground up starting experience before I go too deep into my stuff.
For me, I've been with my current employer for almost 9 years. So this summer will be officially 9 years for me since I've been with my current employer. I started out as a temporary employee. So I started out as a temporary employee, worked, the typical 90 days before they offered me a full-time permanent position. So after those 3 months, I became a permanent employee. So of course, like those 3 months, like they counted, but they didn't count because once you they don't count my temp date as my hire date. They count like when they offered me the position. So I started out in a department that was pretty diverse, but that could be because of the type of department that it was. Kind of like when you break foot into the corporate world, right? Where you will tend to see a little bit more diversity than you would see maybe in other positions in other departments. I feel like for the most part, I was able to have a decent to good experience. I really rave about my first 2 departments because of the relationships that I was able to build when I was in those departments or whatever. So personally, I feel like because there was a lot more diversity, I was able to have a sense of community at work, that we understood certain experiences and we could share those things, and if something did come up, we had someone that we could talk to about it. Even if maybe we didn't always go to management, we can talk about it amongst ourselves and just have that space to where we could express ourselves and be ourselves or whatever. So I will say, for me, another thing that I noticed when I first started was there was actually a lot of women that were in management roles. So that was one thing I did that I liked to see when I first started, that there were a lot of women in management roles, and there were actually quite a few Black women in management roles within my first department. So personally, those things were, I won't get too much into, that's a whole nother topic of how, sometimes women can be in roles and or just kind of the misconceptions, if you will. But overall, I would say that it was a decent, cool experience. I have had how do I want to put it? The opportunities to move up and around. I've been promoted several times in my time here with the employer, but sometimes those promotions didn't come easy as well. But that's we can dive into that a little later. But for starters, I would say that it was a decent, cool experience.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, as a credit to my employer, professionally, I feel like it was great. Like you said, you started as a temp. I started out where I work now in the industry that I had no idea I would ever end up in. I actually started as an admin, as an administrative assistant, and I worked myself up to a consultant role. And I will say, in this at this particular place that I work, the ability to move up and move up quickly is great. Like I feel like there is no bounds. If they see that you can do the work, it's gonna happen for you. And it happened for me quick. I was getting promoted basically every year. I was getting promoted to these bigger positions. There were some promotions that took a little bit longer because you had to have certain credentials in order to for them to put you in those positions. So I had to finish schooling in specific areas in order to get to where I am now. But being able to move, I feel like was great, and I did feel like I had the support of my superiors and my team. Though no people in my immediate circle at work look like me, I feel like I had a good relationship with them. I do feel like I have an open enough relationship where I can communicate about personal stuff and work stuff, but there is still some barriers, more on a personal front. But I just wanted to talk a little bit more about that.
Gotcha. So for me, as I have moved up within my corporate world, my experiences have changed. So I now, as of 3 years ago, I was promoted into a position where there's a whole story behind how I even got this position, because it's not my background at all.
Yeah.
But I was promoted into a position that took me away from the only area that I knew, like where I was located. It moved me to our corporate headquarters, which is a completely different environment. So when I started there, I remember like walking in like my first week, and I was almost like ashamed in the sense that there was not a lot of diversity. And that's one thing that is really big to me, is truly seeing diverse people within your place of employment, because we live in a diverse world. It's not just white people in this world. It's not just black people in this world. There are all kinds of people, and I feel like where you work should reflect
be a
that.
reflection of that.
So when I saw less and less and less of us, you kind of feel like isolated. So imagine leaving what you know, like leaving your your place, your location that you've been at for several years, then going into a new location, not just a new location where you don't know anybody. You're in a completely different background now, in which you don't know anything about. And then you're the only black person on your team.
Yeah.
To this day, I've been in this current department for 3 years, and I am the only black person on my team.
Same. I am as far as I know, I am the only black person on my floor.
Wow. Now, I wouldn't say that I'm the only black person on my floor. My department is broken up into several like different groups. So there are other black people and people of color, but that number is very slim compared to the amount of white people that is in my department and just in that office as a whole.
Yeah, same. I probably can count. Before I probably would say I could count on one hand how many are in. Well, and this is only speaking for our location in the Metroplex. I don't know about the others. I mean, it still is about the other states and cities. I still feel like it's really not a whole lot from what I can tell. But before, I could probably count on one hand how many of us there are now. I feel like it's probably extended to 2.
Oh, okay.
But that's the extent of it, and this is hundreds and thousands of people that work there. And the amount of women or black women in higher positions, I mean,
so like in my department,
managers, yes. But like partners and people who like have ownership and stake into the company, very small. And the way our company is designed, I'm not about to get into all that. But I feel like there should be more.
Absolutely. So like, okay, so within my department, there is, in leadership roles, there's only one black person in a leadership role.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm really
there is only one black person in a leadership role out of maybe 8 different groups within my department. There's only one black person in a leadership role.
I'm really trying to think of even the black people. If there is a black person in a leadership role, I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the black people that I know. She may be, but she's kind of in her own little thing. The guys all work in facilities.
Yeah.
There is a young black male who has joined a team that kind of helps with diversity.
Okay.
And stuff, but he's not. He has his own boss. It's not like he's the boss.
Yeah.
And that is really the extent of it. That is really it. I mean, that's really it. I think that's kind of sad.
It's not kind of sad. It is
when I think
sad.
about it, it's pretty sad, and it's crazy because when I see somebody, I'm like, oh, who are you? Like, who is that? I must meet this person.
Right. How can we be friends? How we can connect? Because it's not too many of us in here, and we need to have each other's backs. We need to know who each other is, and we need to be able to connect. And because at the end of the day, when you are in an environment and you're the only one of your background, I won't say that it's intimidating. I don't necessarily feel like it's intimidating, but it can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It can be uncomfortable, especially when you are dealing with, for example, I'll share this quick little story. When I first started, I kind of work in a secured area, so you have to kind of like badge in to get into the area in which I work. And I get, when you see new people and you're trying to, every day you see the same people, right? And then like you all of a sudden start seeing new people, you kind of wonder like, okay, who is this person? But I remember this particular experience where this girl literally looked at me as if like I didn't belong. Like the way that she looked at me was like, what is she like, and I mean, she's staring hard at me like, why are you here? Why are you here? Like, why are you walking in here? And I looked back at her and I was like, I work here. You can stop looking at me.
Wow.
I work here, so you can stop looking at me. And she didn't say anything to me. She just kept walking. And went to her area. But ever since then, when she saw me, she was all of a sudden kind to me.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to look at me as if I don't belong somewhere.
Yeah. Now, I can say I've never had that type of experience. That is the... What was that?
My phone.
Oh. I will say, I've never had anybody look at me or say anything to give any type of indication or show that what are you doing here, or make me feel like I don't belong somewhere. Everybody has always been very sweet and open, maybe overly sweet or too sweet. It's like, is this really you?
Yeah.
Or like, what are you trying to do here? But I've never had any type of experience like that, surprisingly.
I vividly remember that experience. Like, you're not about to look at me and stare me down as if I don't belong in the same office and location as you. And it was like this look of like, despair, like, what is she doing here? Like,
Yeah.
that's what
crazy.
That's what really got me. It wasn't like a look like, oh, you're a new person, like, who, I've never seen you before, you new here. Like, I wouldn't have mind that at all. But the way, it was like the way that girl looked at me.
Yeah, you could tell.
I could tell that she was like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. And I was like, you are not, like, one thing about me, do not cross me like that.
Yeah.
Because ain't no telling what's gonna come out my mouth.
It'll come out. Yeah.
Like, there's no telling what's gonna come out my mouth. And that is a very vivid experience. Like, I'll never forget it. And just imagine that within your first like couple of weeks in a completely new environment, a new space. And it was already uncomfortable for me going into it, because I just had a lot of like uncertainty about like, what am I really getting myself into?
Yeah.
Did I really make the right choice to go with this position, to leave, an area, a background, that I was accustomed to, and the department that I'm in now is not where I wanted to go. I had my heart set on going into another field, and that wasn't working out. And this opportunity presented itself. So I have all those things going on, and then you get this look like you don't belong here, when you're already feeling like, did I even make it? Like, you're already feeling like, okay. So that's the experience that I won't forget. And then two, I don't know about you and how you are in your workspace, but I don't really have a hard time, like, I don't want to say making friends, because I don't want to use the term friends loosely. I'm really, particular about how I use that word, but I don't really have a hard time connecting with people in spaces like that. But I had to pray for friends in my new workspace. Wow. I was like, I think maybe going into almost month 3 in this role, and I didn't really was connecting with anybody on my team, and I don't force connections. Yeah. So we just, it's just a team of like, we work together, and that's it, right? Yeah. Like, we work together. I don't particularly think that those people are bad people or anything like that. We just don't really connect or click in that way. But I was like, Lord, and I remember praying so distinctly, Lord, if you want me to stay in this position at this location, I need at least one good friend that I can, have as part of my community to get through this space. Yeah. And he answered my prayer. He answered my prayer, because I remember, and if they listen to this episode, they're going to know exactly who they are. I went to, what did I do? I did a volunteer community service event. Like, we get volunteer hours to go and do community service for different groups or whatever if we want to. And I volunteered for the Special Olympics that was held at the University of Texas in Arlington. And I met this guy, this guy there, and we recognized each other from our previous location, and ever since then we've connected.
Y'all been cool,
and we've been cool ever since. We be keeping each other together. Yeah. Actually, to the point, he actually calls me his real life Issa Rae.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, which is hilarious, because I was gonna as I continue to share about my work experience and stuff, especially how open can you be as far as conversations that you can have with your team, and just maybe not even about personal stuff, but just professional stuff, your work stuff. And our meetings, even to this day, even at a working from home environment, our meetings are so awkward.
Oh, okay.
They're so awkward, to the point to where I will actually describe it as Issa when she worked at We Got Y'all on Insecure. No lie.
Yeah. Cannot relate. Cannot see, but I think it's different because like I think it just depends on what field of work you're in. Because like for me, I don't really know how to say it, but what I do is basically a career path. Like what I'm in is what I would be in forever. This is what I wanted to do. So the promotions and stuff, the opportunities to move around it's the same thing. It's just a higher title. But so, for instance, my team has stayed the same. It's not like I would go to a different team. So I've pretty much grown up with my
those
team.
People, yeah.
So somebody gets promoted, like it's just a trickle effect. Like my current manager, was a young consultant at one point, and she kind of worked her way up, and we just kind of follow, under her. But there is nowhere else where else we would go. We are consultants, and that's what our careers are. So I've grown with my team. So we've grown close. I mean, we've basically over 10 years. Like I see these people every single day. We talk pretty much all the time, outside of work, inside of work. So whenever we have our team meetings, let's talk, let's catch up. Like what's going on with you? I feel like we are genuine friends. Sometimes professionally, just because of how things are, like with my boss being a friend, there can be some areas of like, what can I share? What can I not share? What can I say? What can I not say? But for the most part, I feel like it's open. And I do want to make a correction to something I said earlier, because I've kind of forgot. I put them out of my mind because they've been gone for so long. But there have been, over the course of 10 years, other Black females on my team. There was one young lady, but she's no longer there. Saw her and was like, oh yay, I have somebody that's super close that I could probably connect with. And this is something else to keep in mind. Even though somebody else may be of your same background or culture or complexion, y'all still may not vibe, because
Absolutely.
I feel like we were from two different worlds. And she was cool. She was cool enough, but she's not somebody that I could see myself forming a real
relationship with.
Yeah, a real true friendship and relationship with.
And it's true, just because you do see or maybe have someone else of another Black person, that does not automatically mean you are going to connect. Like the way that I look at connections is like it has to be natural. It has to be cohesive, and it just has to happen and flow on its own. So you're not, at the end of the day, you're not going to connect with everybody.
And I found myself more close to my white co-workers than I did ever would see myself with her. And then there was another young lady who was from Atlanta, who was Black, and we clicked. Like she was cool. She ended up leaving to go back home, so she's no longer with the company, but she was cool. So I mean, I guess I kind of lied earlier. There have been it's just been so long since I've seen one that I forgot.
Now I will say that the people like in my current location, the people that I have connected with and have started to build some type of relationship with, none of them are on my direct team.
Oh, okay.
Which is completely, I don't want to say absurd.
Yeah.
But those people that know me, like in my job, know that it didn't matter like what team I was on. I was connecting with people.
So do you have any close relationships on your actual team, or there's just like none? Okay.
No, I don't have any close relationships on my actual team. I will say that there has been improvement in one of my relationships with one of my team members, but I think that improvement has come from the fact that we're kind of both been in the same position as far as all the changes and all of that with the nature of our jobs and just kind of the positions that things that we've had to face in trying to maneuver through this role. And she's the only person that gets it because she's experiencing it herself.
Yeah.
And I get what she's saying because I'm experiencing it myself. But it to say that we would actually be friends or outside of work or anything like that, no.
Gotcha.
So the relationships that I do have, that I have formed now in my current location, none of those people are on my direct team.
Yeah. Most of my friendships are on my direct team. Earlier, in the earlier days or a few years ago, I felt like I had friendships outside of my team, but a lot of those people have moved away. You know, everybody's like gone. So it's like I'm having to start fresh with new people that come in. And just the way we're set up, most of the people that work in my field, we're all kind of introverts. We're not really out there. Some people are. I'm not going to say that. Some people do go out and go to the happy hour events and like network and talk to people, but most of us that's around who I would run into on a daily basis, you see each other in the hallway and your head is down. You're not really making connections like that unless you're attending some type of event together, community service, you know, like you said, our firm meetings and different things like that. But most of the friends that I had that were outside of my team, pretty much all gone. They're all gone.
Yeah. So that is one thing that is really awkward for me, because I remember like when I first started in this role, some of my old people would check on me like, how's it going, you know, over there, and I just would not have any really good things to say. And they're like, hold on, wait, like something must really be wrong, because this doesn't even sound like you. It was like, you ain't got no friends, no like nobody to talk to, no nothing. Like, no, I don't.
That's sad. Like,
no, I do not.
Sounds miserable.
And that was really, 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 really hard for me in the beginning. So imagine, like I said, like all of that going on, and then just, you know, the looks that I would get, and then hair. So I am a person that likes to change my hair a lot. I'm natural, and with natural hair you pretty much can do whatever you want to do. So if I want to wear my hair in a protective style, my hair will be in a protective style. If I want to wear my hair straight, then I will wear my hair straight. If I want to wear it in beach waves or braid it up or in this natural curly state and it be in this big curly fro, then that's exactly what I am going to do. And white people, you know, they make interesting observations and comments about, you know, your hair. Like, I don't know what their obsession is with our hair and all of that, but I've definitely gotten the can I touch your hair, is your hair real, and it's almost like the types of questions that they ask. It's like, you didn't think about this question before you said it. Like, it's like you don't, like, it's almost like they're oblivious to the things that are coming out of their mouth. But if I was to say those things to them, then I would be disrespectful, and I wouldn't, you know, that's not professional, you know. So there has also been times in regards to my hair, where the only time I've actually, and I don't look for, let me make this disclaimer, I don't look for compliments on my hair. I know my hair is cute. Like, you know, I rock my hair. You don't have to tell me. I appreciate those people that will comment on my hair, or, you know, ask me about maybe what products I use or who do I go to keep my hair so healthy and things of that nature. But you do notice when you get those not so nice compliments, or those compliments when you only wear your hair in a particular style. So there's been a couple of incidents where I would receive compliments on my hair, but it's because my hair was a certain way. It's because my hair was straightened out. I'm like, my hair was cute yesterday when it was big and curly. It's not just cute because it's straightened out and it fits your definition of what appropriate hair is. So it's like those little things that's like, I don't like that.
See, and that's another thing where we differ. I don't feel like I've ever had anybody make any comments about my hair that would make me think that how my hair is styled is not right. I feel like they typically have a fascination with the different ways that
you can do
that I can do
hair.
my hair, where every time it's changed, it's like a party. It's like a bit, oh my God, this is so cute. I wish my hair could do that. Can I touch? I've definitely had somebody want to touch my hair every time it's changed, and I've said no, and this person does it anyway. And
oh no, that's one thing you don't do is do not touch my hair.
And
I don't care who you are, don't touch my hair.
Yes, it's infuriating because it's like the way I want to react. I know I cannot, but please keep your hands out of my hair. Look all you want. Your eyeballs can get as close to it as you want it to, but don't let no eye juice get on it, and don't let your fingers touch it.
Eye juice.
Just don't do it. But I mean, like you, I'm natural. I've gone through all kinds.
You have
all different stages with straight hair. Normally, when my hair is, it can be bone straight. Then in a few days, it fluffs out a little bit. I've gone the fro before. When I was growing my hair out, I would wear it in mini twists all the time. Braids. Twist with hair added, just all kinds of different styles. Now I'm locked. Nobody has seen me with my hair locked in person. I guess they do on video. So I don't. Now that's the one thing I was like, I wonder what people are going to say about locks, because a lot of people have different opinions about locks. Even within our community, people have their own views about locks. But I have never, at least to my face. Now, I don't know what is being said behind closed doors and when I'm not around. But the fascination is more so with, oh my God, like your hair can do that. I'm like, well, is it all yours? I get that a lot. Yes, it's all mine. Just because it looks short this day because it's curled up, it's called shrinkage. It's called shrinkage, y'all. But look, I'll pull it for you so you can see that it's not a wig.
I'm not doing all that.
Here,
I'm not pulling my hair so you can see that it is still my natural.
Look, when it's like this is mine. When it's like this is mine.
I'm not about to explain all that to you. Like, there's Google. No, because the same way that they want us to be so informed and so educated and all of this, I feel like they can do the same thing.
Yes.
And then, like, if you do have a question or you do, like, want to know something, there's a way to go about doing it to where you are not intentionally crossing a line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
I won't say that I would mind someone asking me like certain questions, because I did have an experience where a couple of people had commented on my hair. They were at my desk. I remember they were at my desk and they was just raving about the style that I had, and they was just all hyped, and it was like, girl, your hair just be just so cute and this, and like I ain't never seen nobody that just every week you gotta do hairstyle. And I'm like, it's not every week. Maybe every 2 weeks, but not every week.
Yeah.
And they had said something and someone overheard it, so they came and was like, I just hear all this commotion about your hair, so I just want to I just had to see, like, they had to come see. And I'm like, now mind you, to me my hair was really in a simple style, like it was just like in 2 braids. It's really what it was. It was just in 2 braids, but I guess it was slicked down, and I don't know what the fascination was. Girl. But so they came and they were like, okay, so I just had to see, and it was like, oh, your hair is so adorable. I was like, your hair is so adorable. Okay. And then they asked, they was like, okay, so I hear y'all talking. It was like, and they was like, well, what are edges? And we all just kind of like, oh my God. And in this particular instance, I really don't think that there was no ill intent
No,
or anything like that. Like they were just like they just did not know. It was really, I feel like it was really asked in the most innocent way.
Yeah.
And so one of my colleagues at the time took the time to like try to break it down and explain. And she was like, I never knew that, but thank you for telling me. Thank you for, taking the time to explain that to me. They were like, I learned something new today or whatever. But it was just so funny when they asked that. I was just like, it's crazy.
And I've had somebody try to connect with me about a kitchen before. The kitchen. I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was a guy. It wasn't even a female. It was a white male. I'm like, get out of here.
That is hilarious.
Get out of here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to touch base on something that you said, where you talked about how you feel like the opportunity is there for people in your company to really grow, to move up and be promoted and all of that. So I feel like our work experiences are completely different.
Yeah. I will say there is a caveat to that, but it's not supported by facts because I don't know what goes into the makings. Like, okay, so I just start with this. Even though I feel like we have the ability to move up and get promotions and stuff like that, sometimes I wonder if my pay has suffered because of me being who I am and them being who they are. Whereas we're in the same positions, we're in similar positions, but I know for a fact that our pay doesn't match. And why? What is the reason behind that? And I can go through a whole a list of reasons why it could be. I was like, well, maybe it's this, but like, am I just making excuses for them, or is there something deeper as to why there is that disparity there? Because like at this point, we do the same thing. So why is it not? Why is it not the same?
Yeah.
And then even others I've seen in lower positions with a higher pay. And it's like, well, how is that? How is that? Not to say that I'm not compensated well. I feel like I make good money. But I know
Come on,
somebody...
big money. Listen, she's letting it be known that she is where the money reside, okay?
All day, every day, baby. But it's like, I know that there is a difference. And sometimes I wonder, the same like, with female and male pay and how women are paid less. I wonder sometimes if my complexion or my skin tone could have some weight into certain decisions that have been made.
Now I will say that in my company, I think there's multiple
layers
to climbing the corporate ladder and breaking the glass ceiling, if you will. It's not, I feel like for some people it's easy. And I've seen it. Like I've seen like favoritism, nepotism, like all of that. Yeah. Within my company. But I will say sometimes I feel like the better you do your job, they want to keep you where you are. So just to share a little bit of background of what I mean by that, in my first department, before I received a promotion within that department, maybe within my second year being there. Still the same position, but all they did was put senior in front of my title, which, I mean, it's a promotion, but whatever. Yeah. But my first promotion out of the department didn't come until like a year and a half or so later. And I went through a journey to get that position, but it was almost like the better you do your role, they want to keep you where you are. And I'm like, this is a good starting department, but this is not where I see my career, my corporate career, you know, being in this one department. One thing about me, I do like to explore and learn other things. And once I've once I've reached the point of where there's almost nothing else for me to learn in a role,
you're ready to move on.
I'm ready to move on because there's no more challenges for me. I'm not learning anything else. Which can be, you know, kind of good or bad depending on how you look at it. If you are a person that eventually gets really, really bored, like you get bored quickly, you know, that could be frustrating at times. But then on the flip side, it's like, you know what you're getting every day. And you know that you're probably going to have, you know, I don't want to say an easy day, but you know how to maneuver through your work day. So climbing the corporate ladder within my company is a challenge. I will say now I don't take it lightly what I have been able to accomplish within my company, because I'm really persistent.
Yeah.
In my when it comes to what I want out of life. So you might think you gonna keep me somewhere. You not. I'm gonna find my way to break through whatever door I need to break through to get to where I'm trying to go. So I do not take it lightly what I've been able to accomplish, but it hasn't been easy to get. Not that, and I'm not trying to say that it's supposed to be easy, but I also don't think it's supposed to be like nearly impossible either. So that's one thing that I think our hiring processes could really improve and expand on. And then also, the higher up you go, the less you see of diversity. So, and that is also contingent upon the type of departments you're in as well. So when you are in like an entry level department or entry level group, that is kind of where
you tend
to see more of the diversity. But then when you start, you know, getting to the next level and to the next level and the next level, it becomes less and less and less diverse. And then even as you expand with a company as large as mine, where we have multiple locations throughout the country and in other countries, you want to see true diversity. Like, I don't want to. So for example, like last year, when all the companies started making all of their statements about how they support equality and diversity and all of that, like all of this was just starting to sound like a marketing statement, right? And for me, I'm like, you can say that all you want to, but if I can go on the internet and I can pull up your executive board and I don't see no diversity on your executive board, then your words that you're just putting out there are just words. So for me, like, you can't preach you are a company of diversity, equity, inclusion, equality, whatever, and it doesn't reflect that in your workspaces. So I want to say too, like, how do you feel about when it comes to like diversity and inclusion? One thing that I've seen, and I know this is not every company, but like Black people being the face of like diversity and inclusion, because I feel like Black people, in order for there to be true diversity and inclusion, it can't be done by just Black people, or just, you know, a person or another person of color. It needs to truly be diverse.
I don't really know, because, and I I hate to say that, it's hard for me to say, because I don't necessarily feel like in my company that Black people are the face of diversity. Of course, diversity is talked about, like you said. I mean, I see it in memos. I've seen my CEO make statements about it, give speeches about it, and say all this stuff about it, but kind of like you, I don't really see it. And I don't feel like it's necessarily even really discussed like at the workplace. It's not until recently that they've developed a group that's supposed to help with the
Oh, wow.
the just the overall culture of the office and making sure that it's a space so that everybody can feel comfortable and so that everybody feels like it is diverse. This is like brand new.
Wow.
And like I said, I've been here for almost 10 years and the company has been around for, for years and years. And it's just within like the last year or two that you have put these things into place so that people feel like it's all inclusive. So it's really hard for me to say that because it's something that's new and they haven't really put a face to anything. Now, I will say there funny thing like with like marketing materials and them just trying to market the company when they're trying to show diversity. There were photo shoots that were done where, again, there's not that many of us. They make sure to call, like, hey, can you participate in this so that your face is, like, included? But it's like, but that's not even really representative of what it looks like here. So you in that sense, I don't really agree with it because like you're just calling me to do this because I'm like one of the only people that you can do. But when somebody walks through those doors, that's not what they're gonna see. They'll see a sprinkle, one or two here, but the diversity that you're trying to show isn't really there. There are other pockets of people. I mean, I do feel like I do see more like Hispanics and Indians and other people from other cultures sprinkled around. Again,
it's the fact that you keep saying sprinkled around.
But is that just like the makeup of the? And then I wonder about that too, just in my particular field. Maybe it's just not that many people like who want to be in the field, that I'm in. So it's like, are they just not hiring these people, or are we just not applying? Are we just not wanting to get kind of like the whole STEM field? More and more women and people of color are getting into that, but before you wouldn't see a whole lot of that, a whole lot of us there. So I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. I don't feel like I don't feel like I am the face except for like a photo op, which I don't. Again,
which is still not good.
I know, which I don't necessarily. Not even necessarily. I don't agree with.
Yeah. So what I like about our conversation thus far is just how different our experiences are.
It's very different.
They're completely different because diversity and inclusion for y'all or just trying to build a team around that is new for y'all. I won't say that it's it's still new for us, but not completely new. Yeah. So we do actually have a black woman as the face of diversity and inclusion, and I do give her a lot of credit for what she has been able to do within our company over the last maybe 4 years or so, and just the like different types of programs that she's tried to implement into the company to try to make some changes and all of that. But again, it cannot be on the shoulders of us, right? So when I first started, there was actually no diversity and inclusion like group or a team or anything. So that didn't come maybe until 4, maybe 5 years ago, but it wasn't anything that was just kind of broadcasted out.
Yeah.
And so, of course, definitely within this last year, obviously, there's been a lot more like focus on it and trying to grow and expand. We do have a council at my job for diversity and inclusion, which I am actually a new member of.
Okay.
Which just started, there's been a council for a few years. It's just my first time doing it. I decided to. I wasn't gonna do it at first. I was actually asked by a couple of colleagues in a different department. It was like, "Are you gonna do it?" And I was like, I think I had said yes at the time, but like, I was like, I don't know. And I literally did not put in my application for it, if you will, until the last day, until the deadline. And it was only because of a conversation that I had with a friend that did not even know that it was something that was, I guess, kind of playing in the back of my mind. We just happened to have a conversation about the world and just our limited mindsets and perspectives of different people, and different experiences, different cultures, and things of that nature. And that conversation is what led me to go ahead and do it. And I wasn't expecting anything. I was like, who knows if I'll actually get selected or not. And so when I actually got the notification that I was selected, I was like, God, you funny. I was like, you're funny. So I think that we've had a couple of meetings so far, and the team that I'm on, or like the sub team that I'm on under the council, I will say that the people that are selected, it's diverse. So I think that will be a good thing to really be able to connect with other people that are where this is important to them as well. Where you really do want to see those positive changes within your workspace, within your environment, because I take having a healthy, cohesive environment very seriously. So when I don't have that, that's chaotic for me, and I don't function well in chaos. So that is, I think that's gonna be a interesting, journey to see how, what changes and what I guess what strategies we can put into place that will really help us move forward. Because what I would like to see is if I can do something to help make other people's experiences that come after me better than what I've experienced, then I've done something right. Because you shouldn't want it to be as hard for the next person. Exactly. It's definitely had its challenges for me just to maneuver my way around through the corporate world and all of that. And if there's something that I can do to help make it easier for people that come after me, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to be that catalyst of positive change. And that's why I am excited and happy to see that my workplace is trying to implement those things. Because even when my CEO speaks, I believe him. It's not like I feel like he's putting on a front. I actually believe that he means what he says, and he wants his workplace to be, a certain way. He wants everybody to feel comfortable. He wants everybody to feel safe. He wants everybody to feel like this is a great place. It's a great place to work. It's a great place to be, and everybody is welcome. So I'm happy that some steps have been taken to kind of make something formal of it, so that things can start moving in that direction. Of course, like with anything, you always have some people who are naysayers and are like, well, why are we, why is this necessary? Like, why do we? Because it's necessary.
It's very necessary. And I'm glad to see it. To see it happening. There was something I wanted to say, but I lost my train of thought about that. If it comes back to me, I'll mention it.
You losing your train of thought has made me lose my train of thought, because I wanted to ask you about, that's what it is. When you are having conversations at work, and then and these are not necessarily personal conversations, maybe like work related matters, how comfortable are you speaking up about maybe things that concern you about your role, or maybe even sharing like a new idea or a new thought of maybe how you can make something better or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you pretty comfortable?
I'm 100% comfortable. But again, that's just my personal experience because of the people that I'm surrounded by and the type of relationship that we have built over the years. I don't feel like there's anything professionally that I can't bring up or that I can't say to my superiors or to my team, my direct team member. It's like I have no issues.
That's good.
Being able to speak up and talk about things. Yeah, I don't have any issues with that. Is your experience different?
I will say that in previous roles, I didn't have any issues really with speaking up or anything like that. I don't necessarily say that I have an issue now. It may not always be perceived good at times.
Yeah.
But I don't particularly have an issue with sharing my thoughts on something or sharing where maybe I feel like we could improve on things and improve on processes, because like the way my mind thinks, I kind of have a problem solving type of mind. So when I see areas, especially areas where I hear a lot of complaints about,
look for solutions
from like team members and whatnot, my mind kind of thinks of like, okay, everybody has an issue with this particular aspect of the role or whatever. Just because we have done something, or something or a process or procedure has been done this way for however long, doesn't mean that there's not
stay that way.
It doesn't mean it has to stay that way, and that it's not an area for improvement and growth. So I have taken it upon myself at times to kind of challenge processes and things of that nature, to where like I'm pretty big on like things being, something can be easy, quote unquote, like it may not be a hard task, but if it's not time effective or efficient, then I'm like, there has to be a better way. So there's definitely been things in which I have shared like my concerns, or like, hey, I think this is an area where I think that we can improve on. I don't necessarily have all the answers, but I definitely see that this could be an area that across the board all of us thinks that we need to make some changes on. I do think that I am a little bit more of the outspoken person on the team that doesn't necessarily have an issue with saying like, hey,
this isn't working. What can we do to fix it?
Like, what can be done to make this better for all of us? We're gonna get it done, but if there's a better way, then why not go and try to find a better way to go about doing these things or whatever. So and that could be looked at or perceived in many different ways. I really don't care. Like I really don't care if it's perceived as bad or pessimistic or whatever. Because one, I know what I bring to the table, right? Like I'm confident in my abilities to do my job and to try to do it effectively, whether I want to or not. But I think it's important to, because if we don't speak up and we don't share our ideas and thoughts and things of that nature, then really how can anything change? you're kind of succumbing to what you're given, and that's not really me either. So
yeah, there's no growth in that either.
So it could be up and down, but I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not gonna not share what I think. Now I will say I will pick my battles.
Yeah.
I won't make everything a problem, but if there's something where I'm like, okay, this is really hindering, like, not just me, but like everybody on the team feels this way or is struggling in this one area, and we've been struggling in this particular area, something needs to be done about it.
Yeah.
And like, I've had those conversations with my like direct manager and even with higher managers. And what's interesting, like, when the higher, like my manager's boss, we had conversations, like intentional meetings, and she like wanted my opinions on what I like about the job, what I didn't like about the job, where I felt that improvements can be made. I already knew what to say because these are things I've been taking notes on since being in the position. And she was like, she wrote down pretty much everything that I said. And in one particular like area of work, and I don't even want to try to describe what I do because it's just a lot.
It's too much.
But they have been trying to make improvements. Slow process, but they have been trying.
Yeah.
So I can give credit to that. But if I didn't say anything, then we would still be dealing with the same stuff we've been dealing with. So sometimes you do have to just take the risk.
Yeah.
And
just say it.
And not necessarily, worry about, especially if you go into it and you're speaking from a place where you actually have facts on, things are not working maybe the way they think they're working, and you're speaking from a place of like professionalism, respect, and you've done your research and you've done all of that, and I'm not speaking from a place of like pissivity or like I'm pissed off and I'm angry and I'm frustrated. Like, take that out. Like, here's the facts, here's the proof that we can do XYZ and we can get better results. I just go for it, really. Like, that's just really my mindset. Like, I just go for it, and I don't necessarily worry about if I'm gonna be perceived a certain way, because in actuality, especially in my experiences where I currently am, I've already been perceived as a certain type of way, so I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at my workplace, if you have something to say, they encourage it. Like, if you feel like some process can be improved another way, please speak up about it. It's always welcome. It's always open. It's always considered. So I feel like that's always been the position I've been in. If I felt like something could be done differently, or we can implement this type of process or change this, I've said it. We've tried it out. It works. Hey, great idea. Let's keep doing this. Moving forward. It's always been. It's never anything that will be looked down upon. Yeah. So I feel like that's the way to go.
Yeah, your girl don't be like, I don't know. And but when I think about myself and just even things that my parents have said about me, even from a child, like from when I was a child, if contingent upon the type of situation or environment that I was in, I'm probably gonna let it be known how I feel about something.
Yeah.
Or if I have an idea or think that something could be done better or whatever. So I kind of guess in a sense have always had this risk taking personality, if you will, in some regards. And I just go.
Now, what about topics that aren't necessarily related to the professional or workplace, like more political or more
Oh, we don't have those
personal
type of conversations at
at
work,
all.
which I think that when we avoid certain types of conversations, then we hinder our growth and our abilities to work through differences, learn different perspectives, learn about each other and all of that. Because things that we don't talk about, just, and this is a general statement, like things people try to not talk about at work was like religion, race, politics, right? You can even go as far down as like sexuality, that we don't discuss, within the workspace. And when you don't particularly have certain types of conversations, you don't know how to work with people. You don't know how to communicate with people. And when you don't know about other cultures and just other people that don't look like you don't know how to interact.
Yeah. I will say that those type of conversations in the workplace has always been a fear of mine, more so because and I've been proven wrong, and I'm glad that I have, because other people have volunteered information, but I'm always reluctant to be the one to start a conversation about something or speak up on something, because I don't want my perception of somebody to change. Like I have you up here thinking you feel this way, and if I say something and I get a different reaction than what I'm expecting, then I feel like I have to look at you differently now. And right now we like this, like we besties.
Yeah.
But if you say the wrong thing, then I have to think, wait a minute, you're not who I thought you were. And that would really hurt me.
Yeah.
So I have steered away from those type of conversations, but I have learned just from other people initiating conversations and stating their viewpoints on their own that the fears that I have, I don't have to have.
Yeah.
Like they've pretty much validated to me that they feel the same way. They're all about openness and equality, just all of that good stuff. That I was concerned, like they have these deep other opinions.
I mean, but
even from people of different political parties and who have different beliefs across whatever, just as it pertains to politics, when it comes to diversity and inclusion and equality, just for as a people, I've been pleasantly surprised with the response and the answers that I have gotten to certain questions.
Yeah.
Even from the higher ups, it's like I could have, in my mind, I knew you felt this way, I knew you thought this way, so I was never going to talk to you about it, and I was just going to let it, just not even worry about it. But you said this, and I was like, oh, what? Come on then.
Yeah.
Well, come on now. I had you painted, wrong.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing that's important about, though maybe the workplace may not necessarily be the most appropriate place to do it, but if you have those conversations, sometimes it can change your view of what you thought somebody represented something, and then you talk to them, you're like, oh well, that's not who you are
that's why I think
all.
at the end of the day that we place what is acceptable or unacceptable to talk about within certain spaces, which causes limitations regardless. Like you had misconceptions and wrong perspectives of people. And you end up learning that they don't even operate like that.
But I was worried about that.
And then on the flip side of that, it could be the opposite.
Yeah, it can shine a light where you may need to put somebody in a different category.
So when you don't, that's what's like when you don't have these conversations, you have a bunch of adults walking around in spaces and they don't know how to come together and work together. You're uncomfortable.
Or even know that they can come together and work together.
So, which is another part of why, I hope that for all these companies that are pushing diversity and pushing for their workspaces to be inclusive, that these aren't just marketing words. Like, these are not, I'm just saying this because it's the trend, because I'm supposed to say it so I can be on the quote unquote right side of history, you know, 5, 10, 15 years,
I'm not worried about
15 years from now. I hope that within all these workspaces that there's real effective change being had, and we do have these conversations, and that we can learn how to truly come together, even if we do have. Now, there are some things where I don't consider like a difference of opinion, like some stuff like people will try, for example, racism. That's not a difference of opinion.
Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Right, yeah. But there are certain things that really are just a difference of opinion, but we still need to know how to work together within this space. And like I said, when we don't have conversations, we don't have solutions. Exactly. We have a lot of just avoidant behavior, and that's not okay. That's not, I mean, I guess it's just not how, well, like, I see the world, and there's so much more to what you think.
So much more.
There's so much more to what you think than what you see. And I personally like to learn about different people and different cultures, and
I like to know what their perception is too, because especially people who grew up from a different background and with the old heads of like their culture, they may have like their own views on things don't even know where it comes from. And
that's a lot of times that's what it is. Like, sometimes you really have to check your mindset and check even why you even believe or think what you think in the first place.
Yeah, let me open your mind up.
A lot of people don't do that. They just don't, they don't realize where they may have picked up something from, or where they learned something from, or who taught them something, and why they think, believe, and behave the way that they do. And in order for you to really grow as a person, and to really be a person that is
thinking for yourself and coming to your own understanding, like, you have to communicate with others,
and you have to check, like, why you even think what you think in the first place. Is it because someone taught you this? Is this because this is all you've seen?
Is this because
or is it because you had a certain experience? Because our experiences can shape how we view the world, how we view certain type of people,
certain groups of people,
certain spaces, even, if you will. So you really have to check, like, your own mindset. And I feel like this could be a whole nother conversation.
I feel like this, how long we've been talking.
I know we've been talking for a long time, but it's just
girl, yeah, we're like an hour and a half.
Really? Oh my gosh. This is a long episode. Okay, so we probably need to cut this short.
Okay, but I do, before we wrap this up, I wanted to tell a story about like my uncomfortable experience. Because I know you said what yours was when you first started, and my uncomfortable experience coming into my current workplace, feeling like I was like the only one. I want to say it was my very first lunch. Like, it was the first day on the job. At the time, I had a bigger team than what I have now. Everybody liked to eat lunch together in the lunchroom. So we're all in there, and everybody's like chatting and, trying to welcome me in and get to know me and everybody. And then somebody decides to start the conversation of like, what's your background? And like, where are you from? And people are going around the table and they're like, well, I'm Irish and my family is from, it's from this and that and the other. And everybody's going around saying, well, I'm German, I'm this and that. And they're going around the table and I'm like, oh no, this is where I was really uncomfortable, because I'm like, I don't have an answer to that. And, people, I don't think they were thinking about that when they're going around asking these questions, because of history and how history is. Like, you guys all know exactly where you're from. You can trace your lineage back to however. So there is coming around the table, and I'm like, how am I going to exit this conversation?
Exit the stage.
How am I going to
abort mission?
How am I going to exit this so that I miss my turn? Because I don't want them to ask me, and I'm just sitting here with a look on my face, and I have to say I don't know. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna get up and try to go to the restroom. So I get up, I go to the restroom, but I come back and the last person is still talking. It's like, I wasn't gone long enough.
You was not gonna be able to avoid this conversation.
Yeah, and I wasn't able to avoid it. And I was like, that's like one thing about working with people who are different. They don't realize that. So, I mean, of course, the question was asked, and I had to answer, I don't know. And their ignorance was like, well, you must know. It's like, how do you not know? Like, how do you not know where you're...
Let's open up a U.S. history book.
Exactly. It's like, what do you mean? Do we really... This is the first day. I really don't want to get into this, but the answer is, I don't know. My background is I'm Black, and I'm just going to leave it at that. If you want to research it, you can go. Let's go back to school and determine why I don't know exactly where my family is from.
Wow, but all on the first day.
All on the first day. So that was my uncomfortable experience with coming into a workplace where there's not really anybody around who can relate to me.
Oh, wow.
Super uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's crazy. And it's like, it just history and it, in general, it's crazy that I can't answer that question, and everybody else around it.
Everybody else can answer the question.
Just things to think about,
things to ponder on. This has been a really good conversation. Like I said earlier, I really like how different our work experiences have been and are. And just, even though at times I may not have always had the best experiences, I've been pushing my way, through them. And I think, although it can or has been tiring and exhausting at times, you do have to find your way to push through that. And, because if you don't, you're just leaving the situation to continue to be what it is.
Yeah.
And like I said, I hope that my ideas and my thoughts and just me sharing my perspective and knowledge and whatever can help be a positive catalyst for change for all of us currently in this workspace, and then just for those who come after me. So
and same, I just hope that the people, whoever is listening, can also take from my conversation that your experience doesn't have to be one way or another. It can be anything, and your experience is going to be what you make it.
Yeah.
So like Chelsea's doing, be the change that you want. Speak up, say the things that you want to say, join the groups that you feel are going to, or start a group. If there is no group, figure out what you can do to start a group so that you can, feel more comfortable with where you are. Don't let this world be a barrier or be a burden to you when you're trying to work. I mean, we all got to work. We all got to make money some kind of way. And it may not always be in the type of environment that we want it to be, but you have to make the best of it.
Yeah. So,
Black and corporate.
Being Black and corporate,
it's very different for everybody.
It's different for everybody, and like you said,
but there are some similarities too.
Yeah, and there's no, like, we can't say that, like, we just learned how very different our experiences overall has been. While there are some similarities, how different they have been. Everybody's, like you said, everybody's experience is going to be different, but your experience is your experience, and you can't let anyone try to tell you that your experience is less than or is not valid. No, your experience is valid. It's just whether it's good or whether it's bad or it hasn't always been great at times. It's just finding ways to be innovative and to push through that, to learn, like continue to learn, and don't allow yourself to shut down if you are in a bad environment or a environment that lacks diversity.
And with it, I do want to say, try to check yourself too and make sure that what you're thinking about and what you're experiencing is your actual experience and not just a perception or something that you're putting on other people. Because I can probably, like, I may have a chip on my shoulder. Like, sometimes I may take something a certain way when that may not be the way that it was meant or intended, just because I'm in my head about things, or because of other experiences that I've had. I may view it a certain way. So I have to check myself, like, wait, why am I putting this on this person? That's not actually how.
And that's why I made the comment earlier saying, like, where like, my team is not a team where we just hang out and click like that. I don't think any of those people are bad.
Yeah.
We just don't like click. It's just not a team in which we have those types of relationships.
Right.
But I don't think any person on my team is a bad person, or they're
coming from a bad place.
Or coming from a bad place or anything like that. We just don't. And I do think that is the nature of our work. Yeah. And then, also age difference as well. So, and that's why I made that comment earlier. Like, I don't think anybody on my team is bad. It's just a team where it's different for me because I am used to being on teams where I have those relationships and I don't have that this time. And so, yeah. Like you say, sometimes you gotta check you gotta check yourself.
Stop trying to check your employer and check yourself. What are you doing?
Sometimes. That's good. Okay, we've been rambling and talking.
Well, we hope y'all enjoyed that.
Right. So we gotta close this thing on now. We're gonna keep on rambling and talking. So, y'all know we like to end this thing on a positive note. So my little positive note for today is all about self-healing and growth, which I probably will be talking about this for a while, just because that is the space that I'm currently in with me. Just is all about me right now. Make peace with your past. Like, make peace with what happened and also what didn't happen.
All right.
Like, and I say that because you have to, in order to receive the new that you want to come into your life, and to step into the next chapter or season of your life, you have to make space for that. And if you haven't fully let go of your past, and what happened, what didn't happen, what you thought it was gonna be, who you thought you were gonna be by now, what you thought you were gonna be doing by now,
who you thought you were gonna be with by now,
you're not going to be able to fully step into your next season, your next chapter.
Come on, Pastor Chelsea. Come on.
Do not call me a pastor, okay? Because I already have another friend that likes to call me a pastor. But no, I say that to say that in order to step into the new, you have to let go and truly, like, not just like move on and not deal with whatever you need to deal with. Like, because sometimes you think you've moved on from something, but you really haven't dealt with it. Like, you need to deal with it. You need to honor all that you felt, all that you didn't feel, honor all of that. The good, the bad, the ugly, what you thought it was going to be. Grieve it. Allow yourself to do that, and make that space to receive the new. That's what I got.
All right, now let the church say amen.
Okay. Oh my gosh,
I felt all of that. Yeah. Well, my little tidbit, well, it's not really a tidbit, my positivity that I want to end on this week is more so a call to action for everyone.
A call to action.
It is. It's because I feel like and I do this, and I know that you do it, but a lot of people get so wrapped up into our own lives that we forget to think about others and care about others and or really know what is going on with others. And it is impossible to always know what's going on with others. And even though you may not know everything, you can always pray for somebody else who may be going through something. So my call to action is just to think about somebody else and pray for somebody you know, somebody you don't know, somebody you've heard a story about, somebody that's just on your heart or on your mind. Just like say a little prayer for them. Make sure pray that they're in a good space, that they're doing well, that they get whatever answers that they're looking for, that they can get whatever peace that they're looking for, that they can just be happy. That's all I want to say. Just like take a moment out of your day, sometime this week, every day, whatever like you can fit it in. Just say a little prayer for somebody that whatever's on your heart, whatever moves you.
I like that. That's good.
Thank you,
that's
friend.
Good. All right, yes, that's y'all take notes because we out here dropping gems. All right, I don't have a little song for y'all today because we need to cut this thing right on short.
You know, Chelsea still ain't hit us with the little rap that you were supposed to have.
That was back in my sugar and spice days.
We can't let her out of it.
We let that go.
By the end of a vibe called Melanin's this season 2, you're gonna have to have some rhymes for the people.
They not ready. They not ready for that. Okay.
Oh man.
But all right, y'all, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
Until next time.
See ya.